So when I firstly started reading seriously, I was around 17 years old. And the only reason why I started reading was because I went to a brand new sixth form completely on my own. I was absolutely shitting myself, didn't know anyone. So I brought a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People because, obviously I wanted to make friends and I didn't want to be the odd one out. So I read the book and applied the lessons and it actually worked. Like, this is where my obsession started, and that one book literally made me fall in love with reading. So naturally, because I wanted to get more insights, more knowledge, I started to read more and more. All I wanted to do is grow, learn and just soak up all bits of wisdom. So because I was reading so much, I struggled to retain any of the information I actually read. So I'd finish the book, I'd feel inspired, make loads of notes, and then, to be fair, a couple of weeks later, I could barely remember anything that was actually in the book. And I felt like I spent all this time and energy reading and trying to digest everything, and it was just wasted. I kept asking myself, like, what's the point if I can't remember any of this? So like anyone, looking for answers, I turned to YouTube because this is, peak Ali Abdaal season. I binge and watched a lot of his videos about studying and how he used to study for exams. And he used to speak about things, like active recall, spaced repetition. He used apps like Anki, Kindle, Quizlet, all these things to, create flashcards and use like spaced repetition. So I thought, this is it. I'm going to use this. I'm going to finally remember everything I read. So I did all the stuff, I downloaded the apps, I created the flashcards. For the books, I studied books basically like I was preparing for an exam, and it did work. It did work for a little while, but as soon as, life got busy or momentum started to fade a little bit and the system became too complicated at one point, I just couldn't really keep up. And you shouldn't be revising books like you're, studying for an exam. Like you don't want to be in that situation where you're literally reading and revising 24/7 to try and keep up with the knowledge. I think there's seasons in your life where you just don't read as much, and that's completely okay. But because I wanted to remember everything that was worth remembering, I wanted to be able to, bring up insights in conversations, share knowledge, and basically I wanted to sound like Jordan Peterson. Let's be real. we all want that. We all want to sound like him. Maybe not sound like him, more articulate your thoughts like him. But these methods have their place. I think if you're preparing for an exam or you want to, memorize something short term, then this is perfect. So that's when I realized it wasn't retention that was the problem. It was my understanding. So my biggest issue was I needed to stop trying to retain at the surface level information, the facts, the quotes, the ideas. Like, I needed to approach this to fully understand the bigger picture that surrounds the idea or the concept. Because when you truly understand something, it doesn't fade away. It becomes a part of how you think and how you see the world. Like, you don't need flashcards or apps to force something into your memory. And I think when you understand something, you can't un-understand something. So I think understanding sticks with you a lot more. It naturally comes up in conversations, in decisions you make, and how you just naturally navigate your life. So how do we switch retention to understanding? So understanding has loads of different levels. So the more you cover a topic or an idea from different perspectives, the deeper that you will understand. So there is a hierarchical model called Bloom's taxonomy. It's basically different levels of understanding. So basically, the higher the level, the deeper understanding. So what I've done is I've created a list of questions that will help, jump from level to level to help you gain a greater understanding. So I'm gonna go through these questions quickly. How it basically works is you want to have a concept or an idea, and you want to, use these questions and answer them and basically link it all together. So this list is pretty big, but I'm only going to read the first couple. So what I want you to do is basically take a screenshot of the list and then put it down in your notebook or, put it in a Word document and then fill it out from there. So number one, which is the foundational level, is knowledge. So this is when we want to recall data and information that we're learning. So what are the key facts or terms I need to remember? Who was involved in this concept or idea? When did this occur? So number two is comprehension. So this is where we're grasping meaning and, interpreting ideas a little bit differently. So the first question is state the concept or the idea in a sentence or two in your own words. What does this mean in simple terms? Can I give an example that illustrates this idea? So number three is application. So this is where we're using our learned material in new situations or even real life situations. What problem can this knowledge help me solve? Can I demonstrate how this works in an example or scenario? So number four is analysis. So this is where we're breaking down and kind of creating new relationships within this information. So what are the main parts or concepts of this idea? How do these parts relate to each other? What evidence supports this idea? Number five is to synthesize. So this is where we're combining different ideas, to even form new patterns of thinking. So how can I combine these ideas to create something new? What unique connections can I make between this concept? And can I reorganize this information into a different structure or format? And number 6, which is the last one, is evaluation. So this is where we're judging all of this information against a certain criteria, of strengths and weaknesses. So what criteria can I use to evaluate this concept or information? How does this idea hold up against any evidence or facts? What are the strengths and weaknesses of this argument or idea? And to be fair, you don't have to do all of them. You can even do just like the first 3 or the first 4 if you want to, if you're happy with your deep level of understanding. So when you shift your focus from trying to remember these surface level information to deeply understanding the ideas, you'll find that the knowledge will naturally just stick to your mind effortlessly. I think understanding goes beyond just learning, and I think it becomes a part of how you think, how you see the world, and how you connect ideas together. And I think the best part is, you don't have to rely on these complicated systems or, trying to make endless flashcards. So if you want to learn how I effortlessly, flow through my books and never get burnt out and never lose motivation, then click this video here. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.